How'd you earn 100K at 23? What'd that look like? What'd you do?
Well, I tell people I had my PhD that year. I was just poor, hungry, and determined. And I tell you, I had no idea that I was on track for that. My first 6 months were not great, Cody. I probably, if I made 20,000 my first 6 months, I'd be amazed. But it was that second 6 months, and that's another point that I tell people all the time is you've got to commit to this thing for a year, because that second 6 months, that steam is really picking up for you.
That's good.
But at the end of that year, I'd made 112,000, and as I look back, it was really that when I was told I needed to run 3 appointments a day or 5 appointments a day, I ran 15. You know, I would start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I would set my last appointment at 8 p.m., knowing that the people that stood me up, I would then have an hour or two to go back and try to get them. And there was days where, you know, I didn't come home till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because I was 3 or 4 hours away from home and I worked. And
wow.
And the other great thing that I think we have today that I would love to have had is I just had a back seat full of maps. I would have loved to have had a GPS.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine what that'd have been. And then, you know, I was in the first probably generation of folks that had a cell phone there. But the problem is, in a lot of areas that I worked, the cell phone wouldn't get out. So I'd have to, you know, find a place for it to get out. But making those calls while you go down the road, why have the radio on listening to music when you can be making phone calls? I mean, or listening to the podcast, right? But
that's right.
You need to be listening to podcasts, growing yourself.
Cody, right?
That's right. Yeah. Either be growing yourself or setting appointments. There should not be any dead time. And then, you know, the other thing that I think I did well at was getting referrals. So I would build a relationship with somebody. I would show them exactly how we could help them. And then whether or not they bought or not, I wasn't leaving without some referrals. And I've always had this mindset that people fall into one of 4 categories. You know, 1, they need my product. Number 2, they need a job. Number 3, they know somebody that needs what we have. Or number 4, they know companies that need our product. And so everybody that you meet is a potential to help you move your business along. And so talk to everybody.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love that. Let's jump to, I have an interesting question. I'm curious how you're going to answer this. Okay. Let's see what y'all think of this. Let me know what you think of my question and his answer in comments. Okay. If you had to start over today and you plugged in to your agency, there was somebody else in charge, whatever, what would you do? What would your week look like? How many appointments would you run? What would the math look like? What kind of success would you have if you had to start over today?
Yeah. So I think the first thing I want to address in that is if I started in our agency today, it would look totally different than it did when I started. I was given very little training. I was basically given some brochures and some applications and said, when you make a sale, come back in.
That's all you need, right?
Right. Yeah. You know, you die, we pay. You know, that was the training on life insurance. And now we actually train you for an entire week in our classroom. Then we train you for 2 weeks in the field. And then every week we have trainings that we do. And then when you reach certain levels, we send you to our home office for more training. And so we're always training. But anyway, to answer your question, not to go ahead of it, is I believe that the one thing I would do different is I wouldn't worry about the process. I worried so much about the process that I didn't enjoy it because I was always worried that I was going to run out of people to sell and I was going to, you know, run out of places to go, and that's never going to happen. And instead, I would really spend more time growing myself to be the future leader I wanted to become, and I would try to emulate what I wanted to become, not try to emulate those that I didn't want to be like. So I don't know if that answers your question completely, but I believe that if I made $100,000 my first year, if I was started today and I did everything that we teach people to do, I believe it's a $200,000 plus first year because the opportunity today is much greater than it was in 2003 when I started.
Yes. If someone will plug in and be coachable and reach out to you and y'all can help them, how fast could they get to 6 figures if they just learned, plugged in, and did what they were told?
This is a great question because I have a success story from this last year. We had this guy. His name is Luke. Luke is a rapper. Okay.
Whoa.
You can look him up online. Bald Knob Double L. Okay. You'll see his stuff there, and he should pay me for giving his YouTube
Dude, some
stuff.
promo.
And Luke was a oil well worker. And I have to be honest with you, when he was brought in the first time and was meeting with me, I thought, boy, this is going to be a hard transition for him because he's used to being on a pipeline. But the thing that he was missing was he was missing his kids and his wife, and he was leaving for 2-3 months at a time. And he was like, I'm making 6 figures, but it's not worth the life I'm living. And I'm like, I promise you, if you'll come in and apply what we teach you, you'll do that. That guy in 9 months made 6 figures.
Wow.
And he was able to replace his income. And today, if you were to see Luke a year and a half ago and you were to see Luke today, it's like 2 total different people. He looks like a businessman. And
Yes.
And so it's amazing to see how lives change. I have another agent out of our Dallas location who was raised basically homeless and now is making 6 figures a year and now sending money to help her family get out of poverty.
Amazing.
And it's just story after story after story of people that came in and applied themselves and changed their lives. And I think, one of them is I have a lady that was on disability. And she couldn't raise her kids on a disability check. And she said, I'm not going to take disability anymore. And now she's off of disability, making 6 figures a year.
Good for her.
Her kids have a new home. When I hired her, they were eating roadkill and living with her ex-husband. Roadkill. I always thought that was a joke.
Yeah,
I never
I
knew
did
there was
too.
people that actually did that.
Oh my gosh.
And so to see that is why I get up in the morning. And that's why I love what you're doing, because you're helping change people's lives. And really, we're without excuse. Just get up and go to work and grow yourself.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. You tell that's why I love this guy so much, man. He cares, he gives, and he's helping people. What all areas y'all helping agents in, just out of curiosity?
We help them grow in the worksite industry. We help them in the individual industry. So we do virtual. So we have an opportunity in that. And then we also have our new broker partnership that's going good.
Can you work with agents anywhere or only
We
in
can.
certain- Oh, anywhere. Okay,
anywhere. And
Good.
so anywhere but New York.
Yeah.
And so that's, but yes, we
That's
love
New
an
York's fault,
opportunity.
not his. Okay.
Not mine.
Come on.
Yeah. And so, reach out to us. If you're feeling like right now you're not getting trained the way that you feel like you should be trained, then we have an opportunity for you.
It's good. I love it. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. Welcome back to the CA Power Players Podcast. We've had the Mr. David Duford back in Springfield Mo in the studio. Dave, welcome back.
Greetings and salutations.
Dude. I love spending time with you, man.
Well, thank you. I do too.
really do.
It's fun. You're such a great host.